Hello, welcome back to another tutorial. Today we are doing some little brown vibes. I'm not 100% sure what I'm exactly doing, but I have an idea in my head, so let's jump into it. I've already primed my skin. I use this Vita Liberata Beauty Blur. It's a primer and a tinted moisturizer. And then I'm going to jump into my Nars Foundation. This is the Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I'm using the shade Vienna. I'm also going to mix a little tiny bit of the shade Valerius, which is 1 or 2 shades darker. Vienna sometimes just goes a little bit too light. So the Valerius just deepens it just a little smidge, just so it's not too pale looking. The brush I'm using is from Sigma. It's called a flat kabuki. This is probably like my favorite type of foundation brush to use. It just gives really nice coverage and it blends it so nice into the skin. It just gives you that like really flawless finish on the skin. Now I'm going to contour. I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Tantour. I use the shade Light. This brush that I'm using is, I think it was from Morphe. It's just like a little dome shaped brush. So I like to start just along my cheekbone. And then I just like to apply the excess that's on the brush then just around my hairline on the outer parts. I'm going to apply a little bit just along my jaw here. Just to give it a little bit more definition. I hope everybody had a nice Halloween. I didn't really do a whole lot Halloween night. We just went out and like walked around the neighborhood because we were in a complete different area that we were in before. It was so cute. Everyone made such an effort and did up the houses, and there was just like trick-or-treaters everywhere. It was just so nice to see some normality. People went all out with their houses over here. It was so cool. There was one house especially that went all out. I feel like they're probably the people who do the most every year, and they will probably do the same for Christmas, so I'm excited to see what they do for Christmas because it was just, they put on like a whole show almost. And it's funny, it was just like, I know I'm in Canada, but it felt very like American as someone who's not from North America. Like you see these, it kind of reminded me of Hocus Pocus. You know, where like all the kids are like walking down the street and it's just like all these big houses and they're all decorated. It just kind of gave me that vibe. Not that people don't decorate in Ireland, they do, but our houses in the States are just different than what they are here. So yeah, we just went and walked around and it was just really nice. This my concealer is the Dior Forever Skin Correct concealer, which is a fave. I'm gonna bring this up on the temples here because I'm gonna like do a little wing, so this will just help us accentuate the wing. I'm gonna do a little bit underneath. This brush is from BH, is it BH? I think it was. There's literally nothing on it. It's just a little small dome shaped brush. It's just a little bit more dense than the one I used for my contour. I'm just pressing that in. I was in, where was I? Home Depot, getting stuff the other day to hang my curtains, and they had like all the Christmas trees out and they were putting out all the Christmas decorations, and it's just crazy. Like Christmas is like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 weeks away. I don't know. It's wild. And now I'm going to set that. I'm going to use the Huda Beauty. I'm going to use the Huda Beauty powder. So I'm just applying a small amount. I like to always start under my eyes and then work my way just like down around this area and up along my T-zone. Now I'm going to take a little bit of bronzer. This is a MAC bronzer. It was a limited edition collection. I just really like this shade. I'm taking a little bit on this Morphe brush. I'm just going to warm and bronze my skin a little bit. I'm gonna add a little bit of cream blush. I know putting cream over powder is not usually what you do, but I find that it works. Because when I use a cream blush and then I powder on top of that, I feel like the powder just makes the cream blush disappear. So I've just started to put my blush on last, like after I've done everything else. The colour actually shows up then. And I just use a tapping motion, so I just tap it on top so I'm not rubbing it, so it's not going to disrupt anything that's underneath it. This blush, by the way, is an Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Blush in the shade Latte, which has been very much a go-to blush. Because it's just like a nice subtle neutral shade. So now for my brows, I'm taking the Refi Brow Gel. And I'm just combing this through my brows. I usually go between this one and the Benefit Brow Setter. And then I'm just going to use the little comb that's on the brow pen. And I'm just using this to push my brow down onto my skin. So the brow hairs stick to my skin. And then it holds them in place. I also use my finger too. But when I'm using the Refi Brow Gel, because it has this little built-in brush, I will use the brush. So once that has time just to settle down on my skin, I'm going to take this brow pen from House Labs. This is the shade Ash Brown, I think. Yeah, Ash Brown. Lately I've just been using brow pencils. I used to use the brow pen quite a lot, which I still use, but I don't know, I just picked up a brow pen a while ago and it was just really quick. So I've just kind of been going with that one. And I'm just gonna fill in my brow. So you can see here that my brow is thicker here. So I'm just gonna fill in this like 2/3 of the way down here. And I like to just do little flicking motions. Because I want it to remain very light, very fluffy, not like a block brow. I just want it to be more hair-like. So I'm using very light pressure. And as you can see, just doing little flicking motions. So you can see that just fills in that part of the brow. And then I'll just go in any areas that I feel needs a little bit more. And then once that is done, you can see here there's a few like little sparse areas like here. I just go in very lightly and just do the same thing, but just I more flick this bit up and just a really light pressure. And that is pretty much how I've been doing my brows. Now I'm going to take a little bit of the Fenty eye primer and just apply this on the lid. And I'm just going to blend that in. Bring it right up to the brow bone. I'm going to take a little bit of powder. This is just a MAC powder. I'm just going to use this to set the eye base. Now I'm taking the Soft Glam palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Mine is quite beat up, but she's well loved. So I'm taking the shade Orange Soda, this shade here. And I'm just going to start by working this high into the crease. This brush is a brush from Melt. I'm not sure of the name. It's a big fluffy brush. Now I'm taking the shade Burnt Orange. I'm just going in with a bit of a smaller brush. This is a Morphe R39. And we're just going more into the crease with this. And then go into the shade Rustic. I'm just taking a little bit of the shade Rustic and I'm just going along the top outer part of the lash line. I'm taking the tiniest little smidge of this dark brown and I'm just going on top of that. Now I'm going in with some Shape Tape concealer and I'm just going to cut the crease just in the inner part of the eye. I'm just using my finger just to soften the edge of that, because I'm not going to cut the crease the whole way through. I just want to do the inner part. And I'm just jumping into the palette. I'm going to take a bit of this lightest shade and I'm just pressing that on top. I'm taking a bit of the orange soda shade as well because I don't want it to be too white. That first shade was just a little bit too white. I'm just going to go back into the two brown shades and I'm just going to define the liner a little bit. I was going to do a liquid liner, but I don't think I am now. I think I want to just keep it a little bit like softer and smokier. I'm going to take a mix of these two shades and I'm going to go underneath the eye with them. I'm going to finish off this eye look now with some corner lashes. I just got these Dior highlighters yesterday and look at the packaging. It's so pretty, I'm so obsessed. So this is part of their holiday collection. This shade is called Nude Glow. So let's try this out. Ooh, glowy. I never use powder highlights anymore. I usually use the cream highlight, not the cream. I usually use the liquid highlight, especially the Charlotte Tilbury one, because I really like how the liquid highlight looks on the skin because it blends and it like melts into the skin. But let's see what this one's like up close. Oh, that's cute. It doesn't sit on the skin like a powder. It has that, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a word I'm looking for and I can't describe it, but it doesn't look powdery on the skin, so we like this. It's very shiny. Okay, let's finish this look with a lip. Let's go brown. I'm going to use another product that I very rarely use these days, and it's a liquid lip. And this is from Melt. The shade is called Chestnut. I'm going to add more bronzer. I kind of want to add like a dimension to this lip. Ooh, let's try this. This might work, it might not. This is another Melt lipstick called Voyeur. So I just added that to the center and I feel like it just gives it that little bit of dimension. So it's not as flat looking. I don't know, I just always like to have that dimension in a lip. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you do recreate this look, please tag me on Instagram because I love seeing your recreations. Have a great weekend and I will catch you in the next one.